Hey guys, Mark Klinkoff here, and I've got an amazing video for you. Don't miss a single second. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner real estate investor or a seasoned pro, there's going to be gold nuggets dropped throughout this video for everyone. So when you're analyzing a potential real estate investment property that you're going to be renting out, there's a couple of key factors, right? You have to do your due diligence. What does that mean? What the heck is due diligence, right? Well, it comprises of several things. One of the most important aspects is mastering underwriting. I will do a masterclass, a mastermind video on this topic, perhaps even a series of videos on underwriting. Now, if you're a beginner, just the word underwriting alone may seem scary. What the heck is it? Well, it's not complicated. It's simply running the numbers. But you can't do underwriting without running comps, comparables. You have to be able to compare similar properties that have the same square footage, the same amount of bedrooms, bathrooms, a year of build, etc., etc., etc. The list goes on. So you can't do or learn underwriting unless you master running comps, and that in itself could be overwhelming. So in this video, I'm going to share with you all of the resources that professional real estate investors use on a daily basis in order to run comps. Because there are so many resources, I cannot do a deep dive into each and every single one of them in this video. The purpose of this video is to show you the resources. So right now, you really should have your notebook and pen out. You should be taking notes. You should be pausing this video every time you hear or see something new. These are all of the resources that you need to be using. You want underwriting and running comps to be overkill. You want to do a lot more than anybody else will do. And by the way, guys, towards the end of the video or somewhere in the middle, I'm going to teach you something that I do that no one else is talking about. Not Pace Morby, not Jerry Norton, not Kevin Chow. I mean, there are a lot of experts out there, but I haven't heard any of them talking about this. I haven't heard about any of them implementing this when running comparables, and it's something that I do on every single deal, especially one that I find interesting. By the way, if you ever hear about anybody doing back of the napkin underwriting, guys, run. In fact, I got a bone to pick with all of you gurus, starting with Pace and Jerry. You know, you guys are experts, so I've seen in your videos where you literally say, we're doing back of the napkin underwriting. Guys, real estate investing is a serious business, and you know, you're going to be married to this mortgage for 30 years. You can't do back of the napkin underwriting. It is an art, it is a skill, it's something that needs to be mastered, and you should never be doing back of the napkin underwriting. You need to have real numbers, real information, so that there's no surprises. Guys, I want to jump into this video. I want to share with you these resources. Do me a favor, watch the video in its entirety. Also, it's super important for you to let me know in the comments below once you finish watching the video which one of these resources you want me to do a deep dive into, because as I said, I cannot make this a 20-hour video. Nobody has that kind of attention span. Guys, without further ado, let's dive into this video. Let's go. Alright guys, here's a list of resources you can use to perform rental comps, rental comparisons on properties. Alright guys, so the first one up is obviously Zillow. A lot of you still don't know you can run rental comps on Zillow. Let me show you how. So we go to Zillow and we click on rent, okay? Now I've prepared the address of an actual property that I was underwriting, analyzing, and I almost took it down. And the reason I didn't close on this property, guys, is that secret that I'm going to tell you somewhere in the middle or towards the end of the video, where it's the one thing that I do that sets me apart from all of the gurus and experts. It's something that I don't believe anyone else is doing. It's old school. Yes, it's a little more time consuming, but it paints the clearest picture in the world with regards to whether the deal is good or no good. Anyway, let me punch in this address. So we go to rent and let's punch this address in. And again, rent, price, we're gonna leave it alone. Okay, so it's showing us the exact property. We don't want to see the exact property. By the way, I don't need a satellite map. So we go down here on maps and we just go to street view. Let's get rid of that. But we don't need the exact address, right? What I like to do is simply get rid of the exact address. We've got Oklahoma City, we got Oklahoma, we got the zip code. The zip code is key, all right? and we press it again. Okay, boom. So now we have a very particular zone, very specific zone, where the property that we're considering taking down, that we're analyzing, that we want to run comps for, now it's here in a nice neat little box. You also want to make sure you got all of the settings done right. So maybe I should back up and you know what, let me do that. So let's look at the actual house. Very important, take some notes. So the property that I was analyzing is 3/2. It's 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, roughly 1,700 square feet. Remember all that. It's also kind of important to know the year that it was built. And of course, you're gonna get all that information down here. Scroll down, it was built in 1969. All right, the lot size also plays a role. So we got 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, 1,700 square feet. Wonderful. Now we can close this out. Just keep that in your mind. And now we go back and do what I said we should do, which is get rid of the house number and the street name, because that's way too specific, right? We simply want to run comps in the particular neighborhood. Okay, so we're simply going to do a search by the zip code. That's it. That's good enough. Boom. All of the properties in our zip code are properties and the information that we can use to run comparables. So now we want to leave the price filter empty. Don't put a price filter in yet. Beds and bath. Okay, so we know we're working with a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom house, so it doesn't make sense for us to put 2 bedroom or 1 bedroom because our property is 3 bedroom. The only time that you could put less or more bedrooms is if you're in a very rural area and you're not getting any kind of comps. You're not getting the information that you need. But in this situation, we seem to have plenty of comps, so we want to be as specific as possible. We're going to put in 3 bed, 2 bath, use exact match, apply. All right, now we're not getting as many as we need, and this is why I'm going to show you all of the possible resources that you can be using. And now let's take a look at what we got. So we got 3 bed, 2 bath, right? Again, what is the point of doing all this? If I buy this rental property and I want to rent it out, I want to know how much money it's going to bring in potentially, right? I need to understand if it's going to offset the debt that I have to service, the principal, the interest, the taxes, the insurance, whatever other maintenance expenses like lawn care, whatever else I may have on this property. So we've got one here that's renting for $1,500 a month, but it's not the best comp because it's 700 square feet less than the house that we have. So we know we could probably get more than 1,500. Let's take a look at this one, 3 bed, 2 bath. It's less than 1,000 a month. So that right there tells me comps, or the rents rather, are all over the place. But let's take a look and find out why this one is so cheap. It's got more square footage. Well, there you go. It's simply the interior. Look at this outdated kitchen, and look at this one. It's got stainless steel appliances. It's lit up. It's beautiful. And even though it's got less square footage than this one, they're charging 50% more per month. So there's your answer. But again, that's not really the question we're asking. We want to make sure that our property, again, we need to understand the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the square footage, your build, and also how does our interior look. Now, if you guys don't remember, or I maybe didn't show you all the pictures, the interior of our house actually looks clean like this. It's been updated. So this $995 a month, that's not a fair comp. This one is more accurate, but since we have more square footage, we could probably get more than $1,500 a month, but we have to keep working. Don't just look at 1 or 2 examples. It's not enough. We want to get all of the information, all of it, as much as humanly possible. Let's take a look at this one. It's also in the same zip code, 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. So it's got an extra bathroom and the square footage is comparable to what we have. They're charging $2,200 a month, $2,195 to be precise. Now I gotta tell you, this house looks more modern than our house. It's got an extra bathroom, so I don't expect our property to be able to collect $2,195 a month. I'm actually leaning towards the $1,500 a month, maybe higher. Then we got this one. It's got less square footage than we do. 3 bed, 2 bath, same zip code at $3,200 a month. I don't know what they have. Maybe a gold toilet here. It's crazy. $3,200 a month for what? Oh my goodness. It's outdated. I don't think they're gonna rent it for $3,200 a month. But you see, the more information we get, it could become a little more problematic because it's all over the place. And this is really going to drive my point home when I tell you my secret strategy, the way that I run comps. Yes, I use all of the resources I'm about to show you, and I'm sorry that I got stuck on Zillow, but rather than you guys asking a million questions in the comments, let's really, run through this together. I don't know what the hell this is. So when I see something like this, I would actually go ahead and contact the agent, the homeowner, and, I'd want to find out why they're out of their freaking bird. Like, based on what are they asking for $3,200 a month, right? This one looks a little more realistic. 1850, 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,400 square feet. This is probably the closest one that we've got to our house. I like the floors, I gotta be honest. Everything else seems way outdated. Oh boy, yeah, this is bad. The floors are interesting, but everything else, granite countertop, nice. The backsplash is nice, but some of the rooms, oh, we got a jacuzzi, a hot tub. That's nice. We do not have a hot tub in our house, so this is interesting. This is very outdated. Let me pull this up. Let me give you guys some bigger pictures. I'm sorry, why am I terrorizing you guys like this? So again, I like the flooring. Carpets look fresh. This looks very outdated. These cabinets are, oh, this is very old. So this bathroom, they've done nothing to it, and even this could be outdated, but it was just, I believe, done with a little bit of style, considering the rent is only $1,850 for 3-bed, 2-bath. Yeah, cabinets are just shot. Okay, and I've got a lot to say about this one as well, guys. If you feel confused, don't. We're gonna work through this whole thing. Now, here's something that scares me. 1850, it's comparable in the 3-bed, 2-bath in the square footage, but it's been on Zillow for 101 days. That means there's no takers. Nobody wants to pay 1850 a month for this. So now we're understanding that 1850 might be a little too high for our rent, and 1500, even though there's a lot less square feet here, is probably more reasonable, right, as far as how much rent we can collect on our property. And here I would already be taking notes, right? I would probably use this as a comparable. So let's take a look at the last comp that they're showing. There's not many comps here, and they are all over the place, guys. I mean, really, we went from $995 to $3,200 a month. That would actually confuse a beginner real estate investor rather than helping them, right? Let's take a look at this one as well. 1100, it's been on the market for 93 days. That's not good, and there's no pictures. Well, maybe that's why, right? Oh, that's just hideous. Yes, I don't even know if this is active. But that's just, I don't know how anybody expects to rent a house with one picture. Okay, good luck with that. So we can't use this as a comparable either. Again, the only one that I really like is this one. I would really call, I'm old-fashioned, I'll put more time into it. I would call and find out why they're asking for $3,200. All right, so out of this one resource, Zillow, we only have, I believe, one comp. Okay, it's not enough. It's not enough. We could start playing with the bedrooms and the bathrooms, but I don't think that's gonna help us. So here's one resource, guys. Now let's keep it moving. The other one is Rentometer. Now, Rentometer, if you don't have an account with them, if you just punch it into Google, sometimes they run a special where they'll give you a free trial, or they'll actually show you the comparables and all the information that you need for free. But also, I've noticed lately they're trying to charge everybody money just for using it. And yeah, I'll read this to you guys. So you enter a property's address and get detailed analysis of rental prices in the vicinity, which is exactly what we're trying to do, showing average rents for similar properties. So let's see if they'll let us do it for free. If not, I mean, you guys have to decide, right? Do you want to pay for this? Yeah, see, they have a free trial, I believe. So let's enter this address and see what we get. We know we got 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Check rent. It's probably gonna ask me for money. No, it's giving me the information. Again, how reliable it is, I don't know. I believe their paid version is gonna give you a lot more info. And you know, if you're a real estate investor, yes, some resources you need to be paying money for. But I wanna hurry this up, guys, because this video is running long. So we're seeing that the average rent is actually $13.39, and we gave them the exact address, right? So they're basing their results on 37 properties that are 3 bedroom and 1.5 or more bath rentals seen within the last 12 months in a 1 mile radius. I would probably want to pump the radius up to 1.5 miles, 2 miles. And look, you can download the comps, you can get a pro report. And the most that they're showing is 1568 is on the highest end of it, but 1432, right? It's the high end of the spectrum here, and the lowest one is 1247. So now we're getting a clearer picture. And remember what I said with this property, $1,500 a month. It looks to be legit. Now we're seeing it's actually on the high end of it, and again, it's been on market for 22 days. So now we're getting a clearer picture. The third resource that I want to show you guys is realtor.com. It's also got a rentals section. You can search for listings in the same neighborhood and compare them to your property to determine an appropriate rental rate. Exactly what we're trying to do. So let's go to realtor.com and we're going to rent. Oh, that's funny. That's another property I almost took down. And let's see what we get here. This is the property, by the way, that let me show you some pictures that I almost took down. And you see it's pretty fresh, right? I mean, it's not uber outdated, and it is 1.5 bath, not 2. So it's pretty fresh, right? Okay, the fridge has to go. That micro, yeah, I'd put some stainless steel appliances just to make sure I get maximum rent. But we've got a lot of pictures here, 33 pictures, right? It's not bad. I mean, we've seen more outdated stuff on Zillow, right? So let's keep it moving. Just want to run through the pictures so you guys understand what property we potentially could buy or invest in, and we're analyzing. I'll run through these as quickly as I can. Bedrooms are okay. And again, don't mind the furniture because the house would be vacant at closing. So we wouldn't be acquiring any of this furniture, and then you can use our imagination. Okay, so the bathroom was outdated. I hate this blue countertop. Yeah, I would actually get rid of all this furniture if I were taking pictures of this property, but whatever. So we've got a nice little backyard. What is that? A barn? A shed? All right, so this is our property. Now we're trying to get comps, right? So again, we don't want to give it the specific address. Let's simply give it the zip code and do a search just using the zip code. Yep, and we got 20 rentals. Okay, and now we want to start playing around with our settings. So again, don't put price. Property type, we want to put in single family house. We don't really want to see anything else. And we're down to 16 results. And let's narrow this down. So we got 3 bedrooms. We're down to 11 results. You see, we're not getting many comps here, guys. And yeah, so we're down to 11. Oh, look at this. That's scary. I mean, the house is scary, but what else is scary? The rent is $1,100 and they dropped it by $275. That is not a good look. But I'm assuming it's because the house just looks... From the outside, it looks crazy. And that's all we got, one pick. Anywho, let's see what else we got. $1,195 for 4 bedroom, 1 bathroom. The square footage is a lot less than what we got. So, and our house looks much better. So we know we can get more than $1,200 for sure. This one is $1,395. It's got 1 more bedroom than we do. Yeah, let me make this more specific. I don't know what. Oh, it's 3+ bedrooms. No, we want from 3 to 3. That's it. See, we want to be super specific. Okay, so I got rid of the ones, the listings that they were showing us for 4 bedrooms. I remember seeing this house on Zillow, on Zillow. Let's take a look. Here it's showing for $2,195, and here it's $2,195. 1663 bedrooms. Let's run this again. Yeah. Okay, so see, they dropped it $100. So that means they were unable to get $2,300 a month for it, and it's still on market. And again, it's not a bad comparable. The house just simply looks nicer than ours. So that puts our range right now, honestly, between $1,500 and I would say $2,000. Again, when you invest into a rental property, I think you want to be pretty aggressive about getting it occupied because you have to service that debt on a monthly basis. I don't want my property vacant for more than a couple of weeks. I certainly don't want it vacant for a couple of months unless I'm doing some rehab, some work on the property. But our property, the one we were looking at, it's pretty turnkey. I wouldn't do a lot to it. Maybe something to the appliances in the kitchen, but that's not going to take me a month, right? I do that in 1 day. So I would say we're still all over the place, between $1,500 and $2,100, maybe $2,000. Let's see what else we got. So we got this one for $1,000, 3 bed, 1 bath. Not even showing us the square footage. And yeah, the guys, let me see if I can put in the square footage here. Yeah, that's pretty important. So we don't waste our time. So it seems like we have a pretty large house for this neighborhood, for this zip code. of 1,700 square feet. Well, that's why we're not getting a lot of comps, but also it's not really fair to look at houses that are like 900 square feet. So let's put at least 1,000 square feet and at most 1,750. Yep. And okay, so we're getting more stuff here, and we're still kind of all over the place. Now, don't worry about that, guys. Like I said, I do have a solution for you, but these are all resources you should be using. All right, the next one I want to show you guys, it's Craigslist. You go to Craigslist housing. So let's just dive into it, and then I'll give you my opinion on it. All right, so I already selected New York housing. Here's what you need to know, guys. First of all, Craigslist has a lot of scammers. Just be very wary of using Craigslist. Number one, so we got fake ads, we have all sorts of stuff, and they don't have all of the markets, by the way. See, they don't have Oklahoma City. So depending on what market your property is in, Craigslist, maybe you'll get some comps, some information, maybe you won't, but be really careful with using it. And I gotta tell you, the interface is absolutely outdated. I think the creators of Craigslist just stopped caring about this resource decades ago. I mean, if you ever try to navigate this, you'll know what I'm talking about, guys. So this is not my favorite resource. I rarely use it, but I wanted to mention it. The other one that we're going to talk about is apartments.com. So you can browse availability, rentals by neighborhood or zip code to compare amenities, location, and rental rates for multifamily units. So let's have a run at this. And again, I'm going to take out the exact address. I'll leave the city and the zip code, see what it pulls. 1 second, guys. Okay, so houses for rent. That's what we want to do. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And we're getting a lot. So we got to dive in here. Always leave the price blank. Bedrooms, bathrooms, very important. 3, done. No price. We are looking for houses. Square footage. Let's put this in, guys. It's fairly important. I'm going to put 11. I'll put in 1,000 because I already realized that we don't have many houses in that area that are as large as our house, right? And I'll put up to 1,800. Getting a lot of results, so I must be doing something wrong here. Let me see. Okay, so the problem is we're not looking at our zip code, and we really ought to be. So let's do this. Let's just do it by zip code. I think that's gonna help us. 73117. Okay. All right. So now we're back to our neighborhood. We do have some comps outside of our zone. So let's see what we got. 1,600 for 4-bed, 2-bath. Okay. Let's see how inside it looks very similar to ours. It's got less square feet, but one more bedroom. Keep that in mind. Which tells me we were pretty accurate with that $1,500 quote. This one is $1,700 a month. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. But less square footage, which again tells me that $1,500 is probably a fair price. Now look at this one. It's only $1,195. I think we looked at this one somewhere, and there's no pictures. That's wonderful. You guys are geniuses. So we're not getting a lot of comps, to be honest with you guys. Let me see what this one is. Okay. Yeah, look at this. 3-bed, 2-bath, $1,485. Again, $1,500. Yep. So that's where I'm landing, around $1,500, and as much as $2,000. So it's really going to depend, I believe, on what we have in the house. You know, amenities, appliances, layout, year built also. This is obviously much more modern, although the kitchen is quite simple. I like the bathrooms a little more. The washer dryer is actually fresher than ours. So I don't know why they're asking for so much. I don't know if they're gonna get it. Okay, so when you see this, right? And again, a wholesaler, he's going to tell you the max. He's going to tell you, oh, you can get $2,300 a month. And the question has to be based on what? Based on what? Or he'll say $2,195. That's not fair. It's not a fair comparable. I would say this house is better than our house. I don't think we're going to get $2,100. I don't think we're going to get $2,000. I don't think we're going to get $1,900 on our property. And it's tough. You know, some neighborhoods are really tough to run comps on. But $1,500, $1,600, I believe we can get that. The problem, I'll tell you right now, the PITI, the principal insurance tax, the principal interest, taxes, and insurance, they're around $1,700. Okay, so this property would be negative cash flowing if we got $1,600 a month for it. Let's keep it moving, guys. We still have a lot of resources to go through. So Redfin, though Redfin primarily focuses on property sales, they also have rental listings, and you can see comps by checking rentals in the same market. So let's go ahead and do a dive into Redfin. And again, we click on the rent tab. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're just going to put Oklahoma City and the zip code. Doesn't look like it wants to pull anything. No. How about this? How about just zip code? Let's keep it simple. There we go. Yeah, that seems to be the fastest way, guys. And again, you got to jump in. Well, you can save your searches, right? But you got to jump in here and you got to tell them all the things that are interesting to us. Bedrooms, bathrooms, house. And we're not getting much. We're not getting much on Redfin at all. I think we've seen this one. Yeah, so our house is definitely better than this one. So I know we're going to get more than 1,000. Plus we have an extra 600 square feet. This one's got an extra bedroom, but it's still less square footage. Let's see the inside, and the inside is just super plain. It's disgusting. So I know we're gonna get more than $1,200 for our property. Let me check out the kitchen again. And just this house looks bad, scary. They got a lot of photos of it though. I don't know if I'd want that many photos of a house like this. Yeah, I'm still gonna go and say that our house is better. It looks better on the outside. It looks better on the inside. So yeah, it's a tough neighborhood. It's a tough property to get comparables on, but we still have a ton of resources, guys. And some of these resources will open up your eyes to auctions, acquisitions, be it single family, multifamily, commercial. I'm going to show you some amazing resources. So let's keep it moving. 1,600 is really the number where I'm landing, okay? And if I did a couple of things to the property, maybe we can get some more. All right, so the next resource that I want to show you is the CoStar Group, and they've got several websites and resources. It's primarily used for commercial real estate. LoopNet also provides rental comps for multifamily properties like apartment buildings and duplexes. So you got to be using LoopNet, I believe, to find investment opportunities, to run your comps. Every single one of these websites, I would say dedicate at least a day of your life, do a deep dive into it, or tell me in the comments below which one of these resources you want me to do a really deep dive into. Let's continue. So CoStar Group. So right now we're on the CoStar.com website. See, we get market analytics. We get a lot of information here. I don't think the interface is necessarily like the ones of Zillow and Redfin, but we're going to get a lot more information here. I just don't think this is for new investors, or rather than, I don't think this website is ideal to get comps based on the property in the market that we're looking at. But this website is a wealth of information, and I just don't think that for the sake of this video, this is exactly what we want. This is not what we need. But definitely keep this website, keep this resource in your pocket. All right, so the next one is LoopNet. So LoopNet is also an amazing resource. It's got businesses for sale. It's got auctions. I don't want to get off topic on this video, but I believe LoopNet deserves a standalone video. Let's punch in our address again, 73117, Oklahoma City, USA. Let's see what we get here. Again, not a lot of comps, and I haven't even begun to put in the information. So let's put in minimum of 900 square feet, maximum of 2,000. We're not going to get a lot here, guys. Nothing. It's not good. Yeah, this is office space, retail space. No, we're not getting what we need here. Yeah, no, it's not going to work. But for commercial real estate, industrial, land, medical, restaurants, this is an amazing resource. So let's keep it moving, guys. Again, I do believe LoopNet, should be on your radar. Okay, so the next one up is Rentlytics, and I really should have deleted it. Let me delete that now because they were bought out by another company and we're not going to get any information from them. Anyway, let me not waste time on this now. Whatever. The local MLS, the multiple listing service, I've checked out the HUD's fair market rent data. The user interface is not friendly. let's just leave it at that. So we're going to keep it moving. The Facebook Marketplace. Okay, that's something worth checking out. All right, and the next resource that we're going to talk about is Facebook Market. So I've already gone ahead and put in the zip code 73117. I also put in houses for rent. I got to be honest with you, don't have a lot of experience using Facebook Marketplace. I know that it has a lot of similarities to Craigslist, where some of the ads are fake, outdated. There's a lot of scams going on. So I'm looking at this, and look, full transparency, right? I'm trying to give you all of the possible tools to put into your toolbox. I personally don't use it, maybe because I don't know how to use it, but like, for example, I see you can't look at a map, you can't put in square footage, and again, it just might be a lack of my experience working with this resource, but they are showing us houses in Oklahoma City. To be fair, 3-bed, 2-bath, we're getting pictures, we're getting some price ranges, right? I would prefer to see all of these houses on a map, all right? And also I see some of these are for sale, some of these are for rent, so it's just, I wouldn't say this is the most professional resource for an investor, but it will give you, some examples. All right, so let's keep this moving. All right, guys, so the last one that I initially was going to talk about is Rentec Direct website. They offer rental property management software that includes features for conducting rental market analysis and comparisons, but I will go ahead and show it to you. All right, they do offer a free demo ledger accounting reporting system. It's something worth checking out. Having said that, there are some resources that weren't on the list, and I think they're better than anything I've mentioned so far. So let's take a look at that. Propstream. Now, Propstream is what you're going to see professional real estate investors use on a daily basis. Okay, I will be doing a dedicated video regarding Propstream. I will also have my team put direct links to all of these resources in the bottom of the video. Before I wrap this up, please tell me in the comments below, did I miss any resources? What resources do you guys use? Which one of these is your favorite? Let's start a dialogue in the comment section below. If you found any kind of value so far, please share this video with somebody who's also a real estate investor or thinking about becoming a real estate investor. And as I stated earlier, LoopNet, Propstream, I'm going to be doing deep dives into these resources. There's a few more I want to show you before I go. So RI Marketplace. Now, this is so interesting because they've got auctions. There's businesses that are for sale. This is very, very interesting if you want to graduate from doing single family rentals to multifamily rentals and eventually up to commercial. This seems like a great resource. So let me show you. They've got auctions, they've got listings, they've got a lot of market data, especially on the commercial side. So definitely, this is a resource that you should have in your toolbox. The other one is 10x.com, also quite amazing. It's another auction site. You've got multifamilies. Look at this, value add upside, 280 unit. That can't be right. Oh, that's the starting bid of 7.5 mil. But damn, I'm going to check this one out when I finish up with the video. 280 unit multifamily. You usually retire off a deal like that. So 32 unit, a lot of interesting stuff here. And this is just the front page. So they got offices, multifamily, retail, hotel, industrial, land, flexible, sports and entertainment, specialty, healthcare, residential. So residential, let's check that out real quick. All right, not weird, not showing me anything, but that's fine. Let me see if I could do a search just out of curiosity. All right, so they're probably, I'm either doing something wrong with 10x. It just popped up on my radar. I wanted to share it with you. And yeah, see, I'm not even logged in, but definitely a very interesting resource. I'm sorry if it feels like I kind of went off topic. I know we're talking about comps, but you should also have a resource list as a real estate investor. Very interesting things. So the top mentions is definitely going to be Propstream, PropWire. Absolutely amazing. You're getting everything here, not just comps. You're getting leads. I mean, guys, a video on this should be a couple of hours, and I want you to have access to all of these resources. And I'm so sorry that this video is like 100 hours long. For those that stuck around, the last thing I will be discussing is how I get comps and how my comps aren't in some sort of a range like 1,400 to 2,000. That's not really a good comp because there's a big difference there, right? There's a big spread is what I was trying to say. So the way that I get the most accurate comps is by going old school. Of course, I use all of the technology, all of the resources, most of the resources that I just mentioned to you. But here's the secret. Here's what I do. It has saved my butt countless times. Literally, the last time that I did this, I was just one step away from closing on this property. And here's what I do. Once I have the address, once I've ran the numbers, did the comps, I simply go to Google, I put in the address, or at least the zip code, and I write property managers near, and then the zip code. And I get a list of 5 to 10 property managers. The bigger that list, the better. Now, full transparency, it is time consuming, what I'm about to tell you. It takes time. But I would rather spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of my life getting the accurate numbers. And I do that by talking to local property managers, okay? They're going to tell you exactly how much you're going to get for that property, how quickly you could, they'll help you rent the property out, find a good tenant. They'll tell you what class tenants, what kind of tenants you should be expecting, what kind of a neighborhood it is. So the local property managers are an absolute gold mine, wealth of information that none of these resources will ultimately tell you. So I'll give you an example. This property that I was showing you, a local property manager said, oh, and by the way, let me give you a little backstory. So I called a bunch of them. For some reason, they don't like answering their phones or checking their messages or getting back to you. But I finally got this girl named Brittany. She answered the phone, and she was his assistant, the PM, the property manager. So I explained who I am. I said, look, I'm an investor from New York City. I'm thinking about taking down this property in Oklahoma City. I need some local experts on the ground who can basically just tell me what to expect, how much rent I can be collecting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So she said, yeah, the expert you need to speak to is my boss, Scott. But he's not here. I'll give him a message. I was like, look, I'm supposed to be closing on this deal really soon, so let me buy you guys some lunch. Let me pay him for a consultation. Let's do whatever it takes. I need to get Scott on the phone yesterday. She's like, don't worry about it. I'll pass the message along. Sweet girl. I wait an hour, 2, 3. I never get a call back. So look, most investors, they would never even think to call up local property managers, local experts in the market where they're trying to take down a property. And if they did, most people, they would leave a message, and if nobody got back to them, they would just keep it moving. But not me. It's not the way I operate. So I call back the next day, and a different girl picks up the phone. I think her name is Diana. And I explained the whole situation to her. I was like, look, Diana, it's uber important that I speak to Scott right now. And within like 5-10 minutes, Scott finally called me back. And here's where it gets really interesting. This man, he gave me about 45 minutes of his time. I'm eternally grateful for that. He basically made me change my mind about acquiring this property, and I was that close to doing it. So he potentially saved me $200,000-$300,000. So here's the whole story. He was like, look, what is the cross street? And by the way, guys, it's very important. This is another gem. Write this down. Remember this. Don't ever, under any circumstances, give a property manager, a real estate agent, or anybody who's local but they're not on your team, don't ever give them the exact address. Always give the closest cross street. You can give them information like number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, roughly how much square footage. Never give them the actual address. So the reasoning behind never giving them the exact address is if you have a great deal, you have to understand that local property managers, real estate agents, they're also investors. So don't ever boast and say, oh, I got this amazing deal. It's subject to, it's at 2.5% seller finance. I'm getting it at 0% interest rate. Excuse me. I'm walking into $100,000 of equity. Listen, the less information you give them, the better. Don't ever boast about your deal. Don't ever give the exact address. So he looks up the cross street. He's like, yeah, so there's a problem here. This property is located, I think he said, Dell City, Dell County, Dell Municipality, whatever. It's like it falls into this municipality and I wouldn't manage this property for all the money in the world. And I'm like, what? Talk to me, Scott, what's going on? So he starts telling me all these horror stories. He's like, listen, this is the only municipality that makes up its own rules. They force investors, homeowners to do a city inspection prior to renting the property out. It's absolutely ludicrous. He's like, I had just horrible experiences. He was telling me about a property where the driveway had a little gap, like a inch and a half gap. You can call it a lip, whatever. I instantly visualized the problem, and I don't understand how it could be a problem. Like, who cares? My renters don't care, right? Why should the city care? He's like, no, the city cares. And look, the fix to something like that is really easy, right? You pour some cement, concrete, sand, it's an easy fix if it needed to be fixed. He's like, no, the city came in and told the owner or the investor, whoever the heck it was, you have to tear up the entire driveway. That's ludicrous, right? So I'm getting information like this from a local expert. You can't find this information on Zillow, on Propstream, on Google. That's insane. So this municipality called Dell, I believe, is absolutely anti-landlords. I mean, the state, Oklahoma City, these are all landlord friendly. So that's a win for me. But you see, this one little municipality, they make up their own rules. So he was also telling me there was a local investor who was offering Scott to manage 50 properties, 50, in the Dell municipality, and that's a lot of money. And Scott was telling me, he's like, Mark, I walked away from all that money. I was not going to do this for all the money in the world. And I'm learning all this, and I'm like, wow, what would have happened if I never looked for and called the top 5 property managers in that neighborhood, right? What if I left a message and just gave up? You know what I mean? So time and time again, it's been proven that it's very important to get in touch with local experts, property managers. Yes, it's more time consuming, but it's completely worth it. Again, this is something that eventually you can outsource, right? You do enough of this due diligence, you record on video and audio making these phone calls, and then you can use that material to train your VAs, your virtual assistants, whom you're paying like $2-3 an hour. Let them do that due diligence, but teach them and train them that they have to get on the phone with the local expert. They have to be super polite. They have to ask the right questions. They have to build rapport, because prior to investing into a property, I want to know exactly how much money I can get via renting it. How quickly we can have the property occupied. What kind of tenants are going to be in place. Like, I want to know everything, okay? And only local experts will give you this information. So I hope I brought some value to you. I thank you very much for watching this video. Please leave some comments below. Share this video within other communities where real estate investors will definitely find this information useful. Let me know which one of the resources that I mentioned, PropWire, Facebook Marketplace, LoopNet, like what do you want me to do a deep dive on? I will more than gladly do it. These videos take a long time to record. They take 10 times longer to edit, but I definitely want to bring everybody value. So thank you for sticking around this long, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.